Here we go, day 2 on the Camino, April 26th. A little overcast today, but you can still see the mountains.
Buen Camino.
Buen Camino. Leaving Arson, and the temperatures, I think about maybe 45 degrees Fahrenheit. My calculations are right, 7 degrees Celsius. Here we are with our new friend Anna. Say hi, Anna.
Hi.
And instead of going to Roncevalles, it's
Roncevalles.
Roncevalles.
My yoga teacher keeps telling us, don't take me so seriously.
Easy for her to say when she's been doing yoga for 20 years, right? What a beautiful morning here on the Camino. Look at the view.
I'm tired of that already.
After that steep climb out of Orisson, it's kind of nice because up ahead we have a kind of a flat area to walk. So here's what it looks like. That's it. There's more of the view. After only one day, it's kind of interesting that you start to listen to everything around you instead of just talking all the time, but you can hear all the birds and everything, so I'll stop talking for a minute. We haven't seen too many flowers yet up here, but over here you can see some. Don't know what they're called, but they're small and beautiful. On the Camino, you see that all the people walking, pilgrims, they have shells on their packs, and there's quite a few meanings to the shell, which I'll talk about later. But the meanings, one is along the way you see a lot of symbols of the shell on the ground or on a post or whatever it might be, and that tells you which way to go. But if you notice at the bottom of 9-inch shell here, all the lines are spread out and then they go together at the top, and that's all the trails that lead to Santiago, and they come from all over the world, actually, from Portugal, France, England, all over. So that's all the different trails coming together into Santiago. This is kind of interesting on this road, how it has all these rocks lined up like a rock wall right behind the fence. Looks almost like an old wall that somebody decided wasn't quite good enough, so they put a barbed wire fence up in front of it.
Along the way, I see my first mode of transportation is a colt and a mommy horse. Come back, I need a ride.
We are at an elevation of 900 meters, which is about 2,700 feet. And you see some different stuff already on the Camino. And here is some kind of a deal. See the yellow arrow. See those all over with the shell pattern on there pointing to Santiago. Got a cross, some crosses, another yellow arrow, and some other little things on here too. I always like to listen to the birds. Traveling to Roncevalles, and we're at about, I think, about 3,000 feet, which is around 1,000 meters and of elevation, and I still can't get over how these mountains in the Pyrenees are so rounded, even though it's such a high elevation. Not a geology major, but whoops, look at that. Somebody lost something. Not a geology major, but thinking the rounded hills just might be worn out and worn down versus the granite ones we see back home in California. Here is another mound of rock marker thing and an arrow, and I'm wondering, I would think we'd be in Spain by now, but
It's French.
it looks like it's written in French, so might be in France still. Anyway, here's a view of the Pyrenees. It appears that there is some risk to walking the Camino because here it looks like there's a marker, and I don't know if it's somebody who died on the Camino. Looks like from the Netherlands. Not very old, but you see a little pin there and a flower. It looks like somebody put their Camino rock, and a few more things down here. Like somebody lost their loved one. Well, we are at the Pic de Arson, which is 1,100 meters, 3,300 feet in elevation, and here is a statue of the Virgin Mary of the Arson village. Let's see if I can get up here. It is getting cold too. Even though we're near the end of April, it's getting cool. Anyway, there's the statue. Pretty famous here on the Camino. Looks like somebody has some flowers there too. And notes on the ground. Looks like a purse or something with photos. But here's the view of the Pyrenees. When I first heard of the Walk to Santiago, the 500-mile pilgrimage, I was wondering, you know, had to go through the Pyrenees. Especially now, you look at them, they're so, like I keep saying, they're so rounded, and it's not really that technical of a walk or a climb, but it is cold. I'm from a warm climate, California, but still, it is cold up here. It's probably, you know, it's April 26th, and we're at about 30, maybe 3,400 feet, but it's like below zero centigrade, and it's in probably around 10 or 11 o'clock, so we'll see how cold it gets at the top. Wind's starting to blow a little bit, which can cause a little bit of trouble sometimes. Had to put on all my warm clothes. Up here in the Pyrenees, I just noticed something, that I guess we're above timberline or something, because even though it's only about 3,300 feet, 1,100 meters, there's no trees. And it's kind of, I don't know what causes timberline, but there's no trees up here. But what I have noticed is there's a lot of little flowers. I don't know if you can see them, but really pretty little flowers in this meadow all over. And I guess whatever can survive will survive. Trees can't survive, those big strong things, but here these little tiny flowers seem to do great. Here we are near the Pic de Lazare Cantha, and up here there's a warming hut, and I heard about it, but I didn't know what it looked like, and I'm very surprised to see what it is. I thought it would be more of a wood hut, you know, stove in there, but it's a pile of rocks. But actually, anything in poor weather up in the Pyrenees could save your life. It smells like smoke in here a little bit. Somebody's been having a fire, of course, but I would think if it's pouring snow out here, this would be a great thing to be able to crawl into. Well, it's time for lunch. We bought these in Orisson, and they are very good when you're hungry up here in the Pyrenees. So
I got pate.
And I got ham and
tomato.
cheese. Cheese is really great on this sandwich too. I maybe should have just got the cheese sandwich, but Ham's a nice addition too. I am thinking that we may have crossed over from France into Spain because the markings are now different on the Camino. Instead of being on stone like they were in France, they're now on these poles. And I'll show you a pole here in 1 second. Here it is. Has the arrow and the scallop shell. Well, still in the Pyrenees, and we're in France, but this is the ancient border pass. I don't know how long ago they abandoned it, but this is the border between Spain and France. Well, it looks as though we are 765 kilometers from Compostela, Santiago Compostela. We are just barely into Spain, and it seems like the scenery and the trees and everything has really just changed.
It looks like winter.
Looks like winter in a scary forest. There are actually 2 routes you can take when you start the Camino from St. Jean de Pied-de-Port. The Vaqueros route, I think it's called, or the Route de Napoleon. Route de Napoleon is a lot more scenic, a lot more hills, just a lot more neat stuff to see. But it's closed down in the winter because it's hard to make it through here in the snow or when there's storms that are coming on. It's called that, Route de Napoleon, because Napoleon drug his troops through here when he was invading Spain, and also King Charlemagne came through here too to invade Spain. So it's pretty amazing they would bring an army through here. I guess they didn't have, I don't know, as far as equipment and stuff, I don't know what they had, but that's what they were doing. Here's a cross to signify something. Oops, going uphill there. There are multiple ways to travel the Camino. This looks like a good idea, at least for some parts. This is about to start to get really interesting. We're going up to the Col de la Porter at 4,200 feet, and we're starting to get into snow. It's just a little windy up here. This stretch from the warming hut to Col de la Porte is a killer. I don't know if it's just that me and Nina are tired, but up, up, up. We are now summiting the pass near the Col de la Porte, and that is the mountain that you see over Nina's shoulder. Doesn't look like much from here, but man, I wouldn't want to climb the top of that. So we're in Spain, day 2 of the Camino, and we're now looking over Navarra.
Wow.
This is a big step for us. It's all downhill for our second day here, and looking forward to spending the night in Roncevalles. We are at 4,500 feet, about 1,450 meters in elevation. There's actually 2 ways to go down to Roncevalles. One is 3 kilometers. That's this way. The other one is 5 kilometers. That would be this way. But Nina and I have decided to take the 5 kilometers just so we don't blow out our knees, because they say that this can really, that there can really tear you up. Here we are on day 2 after completing a total of 15 miles on our Camino de Santiago. We're ready to head in here into Roncevalles. There's about 32 people that are in this city, and at certain times there can be 185 pilgrims. And this is where they stick 185 pilgrims. This huge building. So, gonna be a group sleepover tonight. We'll see what that's like. Here we are in Roncevalles, Alberti, and we're checking in for dinner. Actually, checking in at the register, and then we're gonna get dinner here also and breakfast.
3 o'clock we can check in. And what's your name?
Storm Foley.
You did already make a reservation.
I wanted to check if my...
Here we are in the Roncevalles albergue, and they have lockers for us. So we're pretty well set. Looks like a very nice, clean albergue.